floor, and he's got to handle it well.
And to your point about trying to get a top 4 spot, this is how big these games are for tie-breaking scenarios as well here too, as these two are separated just by 1 game, and we're underway tonight here from Loyola Chicago, and right off the bat it's a foul, and it's going to be on Kalu Anya for St. Louis. And that's not what you want 3 seconds in.
Especially for a team. They are dead last, folks. They are dead last in bench minutes played. 364 to 364. These 5 logged more minutes than anybody in the country. And Anya, one of their bigs, picking up a foul 3 seconds in is critical.
Our officials tonight, appropriately here on this game, Ted Valentine, along with DJ Carsonson and Tony Chiazza. Driving to the hoop here is Jayden Dawson for Loyola Chicago. Doesn't go. Here's Avila as you look at the starting 5 for St. Louis tonight. It's been this group the entire way. Swope, Anya, Avila, Jimerson, and also Kobe Johnson. And the easy 2 was scored inside by Johnson.
Nothing like coaching, and they go through these certain plays. They script the plays, Coach Schertz does, to open the game up, and knows that that's going to be an opportunity to you to draw it up, your team to go out and execute and get a layup the first play on the road. That's nice.
Watson, Dawson, Edwards, Wowinsu, and Rubin as Dawson converts here for the Ramblers, and we're tied at 2.
It's concerning for both those possessions. He's able to get downhill and missed at the rim, and they're getting a comfortable pull-up jumper to his right hand.
Avila. Swope trying to go back to Avila, and it's intercepted by Jayden Dawson. Watson, quick pull-up 3, it's good.
And DJ Clarkson may have just called a technical on Watson. Hey, he did. He made a 3. And he's trying to get an explanation to Denzel Valentine, or Drew Valentine. Pardon me, Drew. Your brother's a great player. You were, and you're a great coach.
Well, it's all about the Valentines tonight. So
it is, clearly.
We got to get him in. All right, so Watson, after knocking down the 3, then had some words.
That's tough.
Oh. It's hard to kind of, I mean, he heard it, and he was right there, so.
But usually you get it when you direct it at somebody.
Right.
Like you say it to the bench, to an opponent, to another coach. That felt like he was just, he's just saying, saying stuff.
That's a good point. I'm with you, Dallin. If you're not directing it, but maybe, yeah, we'll have to ask DJ about it during a timeout. Because he was the one right over there that made the call, but it's understandable. Want to keep this to a clean game and not let anything get out of hand here early.
But also from a game plan standpoint, Josh Schertz, transition 3s are a big part of this. And you saw Watson and Edwards. They went bonkers last game. They combined for 13 threes on the road to Richmond, shot them into a win late in that game. You don't want them getting on a rhythm right at the beginning of the game.
And this St. Louis team coming off a 13-point loss on the road at St. Joe's, and then that tough overtime loss by 2 at home to George Mason the other night. Here's Anya working his way in on Rubin. Jimerson lost it out of bounds.
Remember that first possession they drew up? That's what they wanted to execute that was out of their normal routine that the other team didn't have scouted. They executed that. They've now turned it over on 2 consecutive possessions. In league play, they're turning it over on 19% of their possessions. Bottom 3 in the league. They've got to tighten that up. They did it in the George Mason game early on. They fought back. They did it at UMass. They fought back. Their starts have been poor. They've got to be more consistent.
Yeah, you and I were talking about that before the game. That's the reason why they've been in such tight ball games, as Jayden Dawson feeling it from the outside for 3.
He's aggressive early.
Five points and a block inside. Rubin outlets it to Sheldon Edwards. Dawson up top. Count it, Rubin. And it's 10-4 early, Loyola Chicago. Avila. Double team comes down, he finds the cutter. That's Anya, and he gets in there for the 2.
and that's not, they weren't really talking about doubling in the middle of the paint. I thought Huinsu had him kind of tied up. Didn't really need the help. Stay locked on your guys because he's an excellent passer. Leads the country in terms of centers with assists per game at 4 a game.
There's a really good job there that time by Avila to find Anya for the 2. It's a 4-point game here. Edwards out to the wing. Dawson another 3. 8 points. 2 for 2 from 3-point range to start. He's already got 2 assists. Here's a 3 at the other end. It's no good by Anya.
You're open for a reason, Kalu. That's not the shot you need. But about this, Dawson's 30% in league play from the 3-point line. He's coming out. He's unconscious. He's looking to fire. Get him the ball again.
Double team coming down. Wawinsu gets the pass from Rubin. It doesn't go. And Avila's got the rebound.
Wait for the double to come, and they're going to get Wakoria. A tough call. He's got to keep his arms out. He got really physical checking him.
Probably trying to send the message early on Robbie and how we're going to be all over you tonight. Whether that's one-on-one defense or double teams. There's Swope.
See, Rubin's going to come on the double, then good skip.
Jimerson wide open for 3. There it is. And Gibson Jimerson, who I know has struggled a little bit from beyond the arc here. That's good for him to get that first one to go down.
Yeah, man. Since their game against Bonaventure, when he's 6'11", he's been 22.5% from the 3-point line. Now, he's got more threes made than anybody in the history of the A-10.
Right.
So shooters are going to shoot. But that was really key out of Avila seeing the double, skipping across, and then the extra pass.
Watson misses on the 3. You saw the note. 384 3-pointers made by Gibson Jimerson, the all-time record in the Atlantic 10. Trying to add to that as well. Does it again. 385.
And he wanted it. In transition, coming off hard. He said, like, just give me a second. Let me come off this screen. A little dribble handoff. They were not prepared. No switch, no talk. Buried it.
Probably the fastest in the league, and if not even in the country, on catching and shooting off those screens.
No wasted motion.
Right.
It is lightning fast release.
What's the steal here? Picked up Wawinsu, and now it is stolen away. Jimerson. He's got Anya and Johnson. Anya to Johnson, and St. Louis has the lead.
How about this blur? What a response by the Bills after a really tough couple possessions, have an 8-0 spurt like this, and the way in which they did it. 2 threes for Jimerson, getting your leading scorer and shot maker, getting his head right and getting him confident, and then off a turnover.
Correct. They did it in 1 minute. Here's Wawinsu for 3. That's no good. And it was tipped by Rubin and right into the hands of Swope, who takes it in himself, and it's rejected by Dawson. And it takes us to our first timeout here on this Friday night.
Not easy to do this, Mike, when you're on the road and things don't start well for you, but to bounce back the way they did, and this is a great skip pass, good extra pass by Johnson, buckets by Jimerson, and he wanted the next one the entire way down the court. You got it, buried it.
Drums keep pounding a rhythm to the brain.
Sometimes the greatest rush is not rushing at all. Get the all-new Nissan Murano at 3.9% APR financing for 36 months.
Crypto wasn't for him. He dealt the classics. Low miles, big blocks, and bench seats. But when it came time to make a sale, there were no easy options. Banks were never open when he needed them, and cash could be a challenge in a place like this. So when a repeat buyer mentioned another option, he listened. Just a simple transfer, like a digital handshake. Crypto wasn't for him, until it was.
Welcome back to Loyola Chicago, and the Ramblers starting off hot, but now it's a 1-point deficit. It is Valentine's Day, and of course I'm with my love of my life, Mike Corey. The object of my affection, we'll start with the team, of course. How could it be anything but George Mason? Second longest win streak in the country. Tony Skinn's done amazing. They could get every one of these awards, but I had to mix it up. Reed Bailey, not just because he leads the A-10 in scoring, but he facilitates so much, gets to the free throw line so much for Matt McKillop's team. And the coach I'm going to go with here is Ryan Odom. Again, this could be Tony Skinn. Ryan Odom, I think, have both done a phenomenal job. But in year two, he's taken this team to a place that is very comfortable and confident that I think this is an NCAA tournament team. Their resume not bearing out, but they do perform that way.
And how about the two Valentines?
The two Valentines.
Yes, Ted Valentine, the official, and Drew Valentine, head coach. Ted's the best, right? I talked to him before the game. Not only did he referee Drew's father in Michigan State, his brother, Denzel, in Michigan State. Drew, when he played for Greg Campy in Oakland, he said the whole family that he's refereed. Now he's doing a game when Drew's the coach.
And Drew said the same thing to us this afternoon. He said he's done all this stuff, and now he's going to ref my game as a coach. It's pretty cool.
Well, happy Valentine's Day, everyone. Sorry that, well, I'll buy you a drink after the game tonight.
Yeah, you better buy me dinner, honey. Here comes that double.
Kind of knocked out of his hands.
Again, he has really struggled. The George Mason game, he got right, if you will. But the games prior to that, really since Dayton, he had labored through the Dayton game, the UMass game, St. Joe's at times, seeing these different coverages and people switching him and playing him with guards and playing him with more physical wings. He's got to, it's hard to recognize what's happening, process it, and make the play. He did it early on the one double, but he's got to realize it's going to come at different times. Here it comes again in different angles.
You called it, and it got taken away. And this time it was Sheldon Edwards, and now he's going to pop up a three in transition. Misses that, and Avila's got the rebound.
He made 7 at Richmond, so I'm by no means telling him not shoot it, but that shot was about as tough as it gets.
Now he puts up a three, and he drains it in front of the home crowd as well. Grew up in Oak Forest, Illinois, not that far away. Went to Oak Forest High School. Got his mother and father and friends and family in the stands here tonight.
And Drew Valentine did recruit him to come here, as Drew told me earlier, but that did not materialize. Ends up kind of falling into Indiana State's lap, and then had a phenomenal career there before transferring here.
On the cut, and the ball knocked out of the hands of Jayden Dawson. Yeah, Robbie Avila told me as well he was recruited mostly by a lot of the Missouri Valley teams, and also App State, Richmond as well inside the Atlantic 10. Had recruited him as well.
He would have been a great fit at Richmond with Chris Mooney, and I mean he is very similar to TJ Klein type of player. Deloach got to recognize the shot clock.
Gets it off with two to go, and it's rebounded by Johnson. 17-13 here, St. Louis by 4.
So you got Dawson on Avila now, the guard, fronting him, and the help side comes in time, and another turnover. That is not Robbie's fault. That is Swope's fault for throwing it, because the weak side help is going to come. It recognized it early. You can't throw that ball there.
His parents, Juan and Katie, in the house here tonight. His brother is also Juan, and his sister Grace as well. And I asked him before the game if it's tough, you know, when you have to go and you play in front of friends and family, but he's a guy that is so even-keeled really throughout his entire career that you wonder if it affects him a little less than maybe some of the other players who sometimes have bad games, right? You know, when your family's in town, you want to impress.
My oldest brother, Derek, and my other older brother, Devin, came to watch me in high school one time. It was the first time they saw me in high school. Probably one of the worst games of my career. Did not go well with the big bros in the stands. So yeah, it takes some time to get accustomed to that, and also just forget about it and stay focused on the court sometimes.
Here's Watson, and it got taken away. Here's Jimerson on the break for St. Louis. For three, no, and a rebound by Wakoria.
A lot of times people say, why take that shot? And I understand that, but Gibson Jimerson, again, is one of the best shooters in the country. He's not going to get a wide open look that he can walk into very often. I don't think he shot it that confidently. He kind of leaned forward. Just if you're going to pull it, just pull it.
Probably had a little bit more time. He was 2 for 2 to start. That's his first miss from three-point range. He's got 8 of their 17 points.
Johnson's on the wrong side there. Yeah.
Loyola Chicago has not scored in 5 minutes, and we've got a timeout. 11:48 to go first half. Pelicans by 4 on the Atlantic 10 Friday night showcase.
Well, we engineered a fast, reliable Xfinity internet.
Isn't that the best part about working here?
No, it's the uniform.
Fast break speeds and low lag for nonstop action. That's Wi-Fi built for streaming live sports.
Crypto wasn't for her. She could tell her remote to record her favorite show, but crypto,
Record Crimson Falls.
not her thing. That is until her son lost his wallet and needed a place to stay.
You lost it?
International wire transfers don't exactly move at the speed of concerned parent. Maybe that's why Jake's idea didn't seem so far-fetched.
Hey, send
If
it.
she could get a few $100 down to Cabo in no time flat, well, sign her up. Crypto wasn't for her until it was.
Game day. The energy, the passion, it's just different here. There is nowhere better for basketball. Get them riled up. That's incredible. College Game Day live from Tuscaloosa. Saturday at 10 a.m. on ESPN.
Game day gets us started from Tuscaloosa. Boy, football and now basketball. This is the first time we've ever had the SEC 1 versus 2 on the basketball court coming up tomorrow, 4 o'clock Eastern, followed by these games as well. North Carolina, Syracuse, and Texas looking to try to get a big win over Kentucky. A lot of games highlighting our slate, but how about number 1 versus number 2?
It really is a matchup I think we were all watching for months ago, and now we're going to get it not once but twice in the final 3 weeks and change of the season. Both these teams are elite. I think they might be the 2 most likely teams to win a national championship. I realize Duke is favored by the bookies, but there's some reasons for that. Should be an outstanding game of teams that can defend, can make shots, make plays, and 2 of the best coaches in the business.
Rubin misses the turnaround for Loyola Chicago, and St. Louis has it here with Johnson with a 4-point lead.
St. Louis's offense has really helped their defense. When they're able to make some shots and get back and set things up, they've been good defensively in the half court by and large. Whereas Loyola Chicago, they've really benefited off the turnovers, 6 points off turnovers early and getting that ball at the rim. But as the Bills have settled down offensively, it's been much better. Drive him, well done.
Jimerson, and he is fouled. He'll head to the line. He's really added that to his game, Dallin, because he's such a great shooter that you have to respect that. Now he's starting to blow by people and get to the hole.
And he's got Miles Rubin, who's the top 20 in the nation in shot blocking, on him, a center out in an island, if you will. He did not settle for a 3, and this is what he's going to do is throw that shoulder into his body, create the contact, and essentially make the ref make the call. And most times he gets that call, and he has been much better this year, not just getting the call, but being able to finish at the rim, too.
Yeah, a lot of 3-point play opportunities, and Rubin picks up the foul, his first. 2 on St. Louis, 3 on Loyola Chicago here to start this game. Team fouls. Jimerson makes it 18-13.
I think with this group, Dawson started so aggressive. I'd like to see, one on the top of your screen. Look to create off some of these handoffs or some of these ghost screen actions where they'll look like they're going to screen away and maybe get St. Louis confused. And instead they tried to curl a screen and it got turned over.
Jimerson's obviously one of the best in the league, but last game, Dallin, he had only 9 points versus George Mason. He's already got 9 points already in this game, and St. Louis is on a 12-0 run.
I mean, with him and Swope and Avila, those guys all average 16 points or more. The only team in the nation with 3 guys like that. And when they're all 3 humming, they are really hard to beat. The problem is, can you get them all on the same page in the same game, especially in a league as tough as this? Watch the double coming again. Rubin didn't come.
Jimerson trying to spin through double team. They're going to call a jump. Dawson got in there. It's going to stay with St. Louis.
I'll tell you, Daniil Glasgow, the freshman, he came in this game and he was a little not alert in the second, number 5 in white. He almost lost Jimerson, but great recovery, great activity, and slid his feet and stayed in front. And a possession looked like he was going to give up another basket. Good help by Dawson, too. Yep.
They get it into Max Picard, who's in for the first time, along with Amari McCottry, who puts up a 3. Shot clock winding down, had to put it up. No good. Rebound, Ramblers. Jalen Quinn behind for Dawson. It's a 3. I'm not quite sure you need that right there, Dallin.
And Drew Valentine looked right at him and said, keep it moving. Just like one of those things, hey, we know you're good, keep it moving. But you had one from one of those with him. You had Edwards chuck one of those. You had some turnovers. Their offense is grinded to a halt with some forced plays here lately.
Dawson's got 8 points to lead Loyola Chicago as Avila misses the runner.
Good job by Quinn.
Inside, and Jefferson there defending, and now it's an outlet quickly to Johnson. Kobe Johnson. Back door looking for Jefferson. He gathers and misses the layup.
The sad thing for them is that that's 2 possessions at the rim. Those 2 players usually finish those right there. It's 4 points in a road game. Just kind of giving back.
Loyola's been stuck on 13 forever. They've missed their last 9, now 10 shots.
But those last 2 possessions by Quinn are good. I think you should continue to try to score in transition and get that ball deep, apply pressure to the defense.
3-ball Avila, no good. Rebound Quinn. Loyola Chicago 5 of 17 from the field to get things started here. 29%.
Over their last 11. And some of them have been real questionable shots, and some of them have been very good looks.
That was after they led this game 13-6. It's been a 12-0 run that St. Louis is still on. Not anymore. There's Watson for 3.
Some people may say, was that also a questionable shot? Not for him. I mean, that's what that guy does. When his feet are set and he steps in, I don't care if you can test. It's a good shot many times for him, especially lately. He's been shooting real well.
Their bodies flying everywhere. And Tony Chiazza makes the call here as McCoughtry hits the midcourt line and goes down. They want to review it. And they're going to look and see if there's anything else that happened here, or did they miss something that could potentially be a flagrant. We're going to have to go back and look at that sequence. 8:50 to go here in the first half. I mean, think about this. If you're a team out there and you don't score for like 6 or 7 minutes, you think, oh, geez, they're only down by 2 points.
And that's partially because they defended well. Secondarily, I think St. Louis has missed a lot of shots that they're going to want back. Even that possession right there, where Robbie could argue that I got fouled, but he still, especially going to his left, he's very good at finishing at the rim, going to left. And he has not done it the last couple possessions in big moments here. To the top of your screen, that was right in front of us. You can see our beautiful mugs right there behind.
There we are.
But it was, I was still looking at the action under the hoop almost, so I just saw the bodies go down.
Well, they got Quinn on the foul for Loyola Chicago, and now it's whether or not they want to upgrade it to flagrant 1. So McCoughtry went down. They called it on Quinn there for Loyola Chicago. See if we can see it again.
Maybe this angle better.
Oh, no, excuse me, it was on McCoughtry. Yeah, I'm sorry. McCoughtry got called for the foul because he just grabbed the neck of Quinn, excuse me.
And that's, Chiazza made the right call initially on it, because like as you see right there, he did catch it. This is a very good officiating crew, by the way. All 3 of these officials are excellent, and you could see he was seeing right in front of there. That it was almost like a defensive back going around like a offense, like a pass interference situation. You can't do that in this game, so that's a bit of a problem. Yeah. And the question was it at all excessive?
Correct. I apologize because you saw McCoughtry hit the deck, but he was actually the one that wrapped his arm around the head and neck of Jalen Quinn. Remember, the definition of the flagrant 1 is unnecessary and or excessive. And if they deem that is the case, it's going to be a flagrant 1 and 2 shots in the ball for Loyola Chicago.
You see, that's where those terms are supposed to be. There's still some subjectivity to those terms. Excessive, no. Unnecessary, yeah. I'm not sure what he's doing mid-court to wrap his arms around Quinn in that position, but either way, I can't fault the officials if they make it a flagrant 1. I got no problem with play on though either. It's a subjective call.
And just so you know, fans, this is what we talk about every game, and when they're waiting here, like, what's the deal? They don't see all the same angles that we see all the time here on TV. They got the replay system. They're trying to figure it out. They got to discuss it as they're doing right now. Got to get the time right and all that stuff too. So they'll get it figured out. You got to tell both coaches what the call is and us. 18-16, 2-point lead, St. Louis. 8:50 to go, first half, in a very highly contested game to this point. That means a lot in the Atlantic 10 conference standings, with both of these 2 teams that are challenging for a top 4 spot right now, separated by just a half a game here between these 2. It's 7-5 St. Louis and 6-5 Loyola Chicago. DJ Carson just came over and then talked to you, Dallin. What did he say?
Upgraded to an F1.
Okay.
And I think you could see Tony Chiazza explaining it to the official, to the St. Louis bench, showing them kind of what they saw in the replay. And I think, as it said, the word unnecessary, it's hard to argue that was a necessary maneuver or foul or a basketball type play. So it's 2 shots, and they will have the ball right out of bounds, essentially in front of our scoreboard here.
So now Loyola Chicago's got a chance to tie it here at 18. after the entire drought that they've been through when they started leading this game 13-6. And then let St. Louis come back on a 12-0 run to take an 18-13 lead. Then they just got the three-pointer by Watson. And then this flagrant one here where they get the 2 shots and the ball. And Quinn has now tied the game at 18.
It's big for them because Ramblers have had some struggles making free throws this year. They're bottom 40 in the nation, making 66%. But Quinn steps up, buries a couple as one of their better free throw shooters, 79%. He was going to check out of the game. That's why he went off the floor if you saw him leave. Right. Because he was the one fouled, he had to come back on to shoot them, and now he will exit the game.
Watson. Rubin back to Watson, working mid-lane, nice up and under, and he got it.
Great job. And that was first they were trying to get Edwards off some of that baseline action. Then it was a entry pass into a handoff, and great work by Watson to control his body, and great job by Rubin. They call it Gortatting, which Marcin Gortat just roll down like you're looking to roll for the ball. All you're doing is clearing out your defender, and he did a good job of helping create that space.
8 points now for Watson. Turnover back to Loyola Chicago.
Now this lineup again without Avila in the game right now is important. More like a freshman, Picard a freshman. Again, this team is last in the nation, and this team is last in the nation in bench minutes. It's a big problem to have those guys in the game and see if they're not maintaining a level. These are some of the injuries for Loyola Chicago that have affected their season.
This is what they've had to deal with Justin Moore out for the entire season after playing just 9 games, tore his ACL. As Jimerson puts up and hits a 3, and St. Louis is back on top 21-20.
Good ball fake.
Up top, Watson. Edwards, that's a 3. That's good. Points on Tuesday night. Ooh. And that was the overtime win that Loyola Chicago had, 87-80 this past week. Timeout here.
2 really good shooters on this Ramblers team playing together. Great ball fake by Watson, and he forces Jimerson to help, skip it over to Edwards. Buckets. Blurs up 3.
Well, we engineered a fast, reliable Xfinity internet.
Isn't that the best part about working here?
No, it's the uniform.
Fast break speeds and low lag for nonstop action. That's Wi-Fi built for streaming live sports.
Crypto wasn't for him. He was more of a hardware guy. But those credit card fees kept sneaking up on him. Then part-time cashier / full-time grandson had another idea. Crypto payments. Lower fees, less paperwork, more profit.
Thank you.
Crypto wasn't for him until it was.
And they got out of the gate super fast. They were 8-0, which is the best start since they won the national championship back in 1963. But then they started dealing with some injuries now.
And it's weird talking to Drew Valentine. For them to all come at the same time, that's a lot to handle when you got Justin Moore, who's out for the season, one of your lead guards, dynamic playmaker. Wuhinsu goes out, and Dawson. You're losing key guys, starting level guys. They've now figured out how they're going to play. They've adjusted to it. They're now 6-4 in league play, and last 10, I should say. And you see where Justin being out for the season is so critical to their team because he was such a playmaking guard that really affected the game on both ends. Missing Dawson, his shot making, his playmaking, and Wuhinsu's one of the best defenders in the perimeter in the league. So they've adjusted to it. At times when they went to that losing streak, they were trying to post up Rubin a lot, play through Deloach a lot. That recipe did not quite work. So now they're back to being more guard dominant, spacing the floor, trying to play out of drive and kick, trying to play out of some guard-to-guard screening actions at different times, and then at times posting up their bigs. Big contact there by Anya.
Good news for Moore. He's a junior, and he's going to get this year back, so he'll have 2 more years. And they would have loved to have him for this season, obviously. Avila for 3 as a shot clock is a runs violation.
Just to finish the note of that, too, 2 of their losses, too, were on the road at Dayton in overtime when they had a furious comeback, and on the road at George Mason. So one of the toughest places to win in the country in Dayton, and then one of the toughest places to win in this league, and a George Mason team who's top of the league. They getting that last overtime win against Richmond was huge, as they've kind of shook off that bugaboo of lose those tight games.
No doubt. Dayton was on January 18th, 83-81 at George Mason on the 29th, 58-53. They played 3 overtime games in their last 7. Wild runner that doesn't go in for Dawson. You see those close losses. Both teams are coming off overtime games. And a lot of credit to the Patriots of George Mason, the way they played this season, 11-1. Just getting it done. 10 wins in a row. That's the 2nd longest winning streak in the nation currently. Jimerson. And here comes Watson.
Deloach battling Avila on the post there.
Wowinsu. Edwards. Leaves it back for Watson. Now guarded by Anya.
That's a big body he's banging with in there. That was tough. I mean, not many guards are posting up Anya and going through his chest. And good touch by Watson.
I like how they let him play there. That's 10 points now for Des Watson. Now St. Louis has missed 8 of the last 9. Avila. Jimerson extra pass. Johnson back to Jimerson. Fires away. In and out. Avila offensive rebound.
It's a rarity for them. They're one of the worst in the conference in terms of offensive rebounding percentage, but there was Avila to pick that up and put it in, and they needed it. Jimerson, you see how fast that thing gets off his hands, and it was a close miss. High pass, good screen. Can't lose his body on that flare screen.
It's literally like pressing the button on a video game. Like put up the shot, and he does. It's impressive. Avila, by the way, with 6 rebounds now in this game and 5 points for the Billikens, who are down by 3.
I'm not sure if this is on the... Teddy Valentine standing on the ground. Okay, there you go. It was close. That's where if you're Swope, Swope's just got to throw the ball up. Like you just got to throw it up, because it looked like he wasn't, he was going to attempt a shot, but he heard the whistle and he just stopped. You got to force the issue. Maybe you get the call.
Jayden Dawson on the foul, his first for Loyola Chicago. Coming up on 5 minutes to go here in this first half. It's a 3-point lead for the Ramblers. Swope feeds Avila, and he got it again. He's got 7 points.
It's kind of the first time we saw that step-up ball screen by Avila on an empty side, and really the Ramblers looked totally confused on how to guard it. I think Josh Schertz will probably be going back to that a little bit.
Deloach wasn't quite ready for it. Wins, who somehow got it. Got it to the corner here for Wakoria. That's no good on the 3. Jimerson the rebound on the run. Gives it Jimerson. Takes it himself. Blocked inside by Jayden Dawson, and he saves it from going out.
You can play off 2 there. He was 1-on-4. Jump stop, shot fake. Maybe you get fouled. That's a tough pass.
Intercepted by Anya. Anya guarded by Dawson. Up top for Swope, still 10 to shoot. Oh. Swope, look at that. What a drive.
And great recognition by Swope, and Josh Schertz was screaming, give him the space, because that was the mismatch. Wakoria and Swope, that's tough for him to stay in front. You saw why.
Timeout, Loyola Chicago. And it's a 1-point game with just under 4 minutes to go in the first half.
And the thing with Swope, too, when he's on his left hand, he loves to get to step backs and kind of hesitate and step back. He did not settle with the big on him. Drove that thing, finished pretty.
Drums keep pounding a rhythm to the brain. La-di-da-di-dee. La-di-da-di-da. Goes on.
Sometimes the greatest rush
Goes on.
is not rushing at all in the all-new Nissan Murano.
Crypto wasn't for him. He dealt the classics. Low miles, big blocks, and bench seats. But when it came time to make a sale, there were no easy options. Banks were never open when he needed them, and cash could be a challenge in a place like this. So when a repeat buyer mentioned another option, he listened. Just a simple transfer, like a digital handshake. Crypto wasn't for him, until it was.
Black history always and fitting here at Loyola Chicago. The 1962-63 team, they started at least 4 black players in every game. On March 15th at 63, they defeated the all-white Mississippi State team in a game of change, and then they ended up beating #1 Cincinnati to win the NCAA championship.
We saw number 15, Jerry Harkness, consensus first-team All-American for Loyola that year. Making history in 1963, and of course in 1966, an all-black starting 5 in Texas Western went on to beat Kentucky in Adolph Rupp. But what happened in that game, as you said, the game of change, started to really change the tide in our country as it relates to college basketball and the success of black players on the court and winning championships.
It's pretty impressive here, right? They got that banner hanging up that you just talked about, 63, and then 2018, the Final Four.
And 21 there in the Sweet 16.
Right.
8 seed with Cameron Krutwig and crew, and they carved up Illinois in that second-round game, head to Sweet 16.
Rubin got the hook over Avila.
I like that. And attack Avila, make him guard a little bit, because again, we've talked about fouling is an issue or a concern for St. Louis. The more you can make him guard, put him in tough situations, is advantageous for the Ramblers.
3 ties, 5 lead changes so far here in this first half. Under 3.5 to go. It's a 1-point Loyola Chicago advantage.
Now you see the switch. You got Quinn fronting Avila, now pushing one over the basket.
He's got it on the feed from Anya, and he got fouled. Count the basket. And a solid start for Robbie Avila, who has a chance at double figures with this free throw to go along with 6 rebounds as well.
Sometimes it's not just about the big recognizing the mismatch, it's the team recognizing. So Anya comes and gets the high-low, which makes Rubin have to step up. There's no weak side help then because the ball's in the middle of the floor, and he can deliver that pass over the guard. Well recognized and well executed by all the Bills.
And probably on the offensive side, if you're St. Louis, not putting Robbie in the same situations, right, where the defenses can do what they want. You know, they have game plan. I mean, hey, you lobbed it to him. You got him up high. You let him go on a to work on the block. You move him around. Like, just can't let the defense have their way.
And he always is moving around throughout the different possessions. It's understanding where and when the coverages are going to come and how they're playing. So there they were switching. He recognized it. They all recognize it. When they're doubling at different times, he's got to realize it again. Here again, I like Rubin going at him, space the floor.
Nice defense, Avila. Now to the corner. It's a 3-ball. That's no good by Wakoria. And a foul and a rebound. It's going to be on St. Louis.
And that's unfortunate for Isaiah Swope because he's got Kalu Anya literally flying in. Anya's second in the league now and rebounding per game, just over 9 a game. That Swope did enough to keep, Glaskov off the rim. And you got to know Anya's flying in. I think that was just an unnecessary foul by Swope.
It's only the first foul on Swope. He has fouled out 4 times this year. Avila and Anya have fouled out twice. That's what happens when they don't have that much of a bench. Here's the jumper by Dawson. Doesn't go. Rubin, offensive rebound. Back up top. Dawson, another try. That one's good.
Best time to shoot a 3 off offensive rebound.
First, second chance points that Loyola Chicago has gotten tonight on that 3-ball. Avila now runs into a double team. Back out to the wing. Johnson for 3, and he responds. Kobe Johnson.
He's been excellent in league play. Outside of league play, he was shooting around 20% from the 3-point line. Now, in A-10 play, he's up around 40%, scoring at 10 points a game. That gives this starting group another big weapon they need.
That's 7 for Johnson, already at his average so far here tonight. Dawson guarded by Jimerson. Under 2 minutes to go in the game. Another 3-ball. That's off the rim and tracked down by Johnson. They're battling tonight inside. Oh, look at that. Kobe Johnson from the outside and now inside.
Well done. And Quinn did a good job of cutting him off, but Johnson was able to regroup, get his shoulder into his chest, and elevate through him. Hello.
Des Watson up top for Rubin.
That middle ball screen has caused some problems. I think they need to work that in a little bit more and getting Rubin rolling down the middle. The guy's a pogo stick, and you can see why. He sets the screen deep inside the three-point line. Tough for you to guard when it comes that quick. Avila's in no-man land. Heads up.
Crypto wasn't for him. He dealt the classics. Low miles, big blocks, and bench seats. But when it came time to make a sale, there were no easy options. Banks were never open when he needed them. And cash could be a challenge in a place like this. So when a repeat buyer mentioned another option, he listened. Just a simple transfer, like a digital handshake. Crypto wasn't for him, until it was.
Sometimes the greatest rush is not rushing at all.
Goes on. Goes on.
Get the all-new Nissan Murano at 3.9% APR financing for 36 months.
Back in Geneseo Arena here on this Friday night, and how about tomorrow, live from Columbia. Game day, I should say Sunday, excuse me, on Women's College Game Day at 11 a.m. Eastern on ESPN. We've got game day tomorrow, live from Tuscaloosa, and then Sunday, live from Columbia.
Well, Sunday we got double headers, pretty massive. I mean, you got South Carolina taking on UConn, and you've got Texas and LSU. I mean, this is a monster doubleheader coming up, and South Carolina coming off a loss last weekend to Texas, right? Where they was it 57 straight SEC games. That streak was snapped. Texas
66-62 win, right? Underneath, Jimerson got it knocked out of his hands. .107 to go here, first half. St. Louis by 2 with the ball.
That would show kind of like a zone look into a man when they're on the OB unders defensively. Kind of takes away a lot of stuff that St. Louis wants to do to create opportunities to score.
Avila for a long three. It's off to the left.
It's the first time we've seen them double the ball carrier and blitz the ball screen, if you will, so you can throw back for a pick and pop three that didn't go. That's a good look for Watson there, though. Both teams had really good looks on both ends, just didn't fall.
Both take them early if they get the looks, like you said. It just didn't go down. Swope for the runner, not there. Skying in for the rebound was Anya. Back up to Johnson for three. That's big. That's how good Kalu Anya is with 9 rebounds per game. Got the offensive board, got his team an extra 3.
How you close and start halves are critical, especially on the road. The Bills now have scored 5 of the last 7 field goals. That is a huge momentum bucket to put them up 5 right now. Maybe at that scoreline going to break.
Anya with 4 assists and 3 rebounds in this game. In the corner, it's Dawson for 3. It's good!
They went 2-3 zone, and they recognized it, and they took advantage.
From half court, Anya. Almost.
And Josh Schertz says it's on me, for they went for that 2-3 zone. We didn't see it all half. You roll it out there, and credit Drew Valentine's team. They were prepared, they executed, they ran some possessions while also scoring, because we've seen both teams do that, but struggle to get those runs going on the offensive side.
The largest run for Loyola Chicago has been 7, and their largest lead has been 7, 13-6. The largest run for St. Louis, 12-0 run, and their largest lead is 5 at 37-32. 37-35 to start the second half. Run away. The Billikens, by the way, 12-1 when leading at the half this year, and now we're tied.
That middle, that was a handoff that time. That's a set they run a lot, and they get Miles Rubin handing it off to Dawson, coming hard off the top there. But the middle handoff or middle pick and roll has yielded a lot of fruit. I hope they continue to go back to that, because St. Louis has struggled to guard it. See the double comes, as Watson does, and he gets back out.
Avila falling down. Got it to Jimerson, who knocks down another 3. He's hit 3 of them tonight.
When you double same side, you leave Gibson Jimerson, you are putting it in a very tenuous situation for your team. I don't think Watson should leave like that and go and leave Jimerson and a chance we can get any airspace.
He now leads the Billikens in scoring tonight with 14 points and a foul, and he didn't think so as Wowinsu was working inside.
They've been trying to drive Jimerson a lot. They've been also they tried to post. First time we've seen him really try to be posted up, but trying to attack him defensively. Again, this is a team that is last in the nation in bench minutes played. Only 14.9% of their minutes are played by the bench. These starting five are critical, and if they get in foul trouble, it changes their game. Keep going at Jimerson and keep going at Avila has been a bit of a pattern in this game.
I talked to Jimerson before the game. He's such a warrior. He turned his ankle in the St. Joe's game 2 minutes into the second half, did not return. They lost that game by 13 points, and then he comes out against George Mason in the last game, and all he does is play the entire game, including overtime. 45 minutes. I mean,
the shape that he's in, because he does not stop moving on the offensive end. If you watch him, folks, 24 in the corner, once he starts moving, it is a tough defensive assignment because he is always looking to go, and he's going to get a lot of action to come off of a lot of times, too.
You see that note? He's played all 40 minutes in 10 games this season.
Wow.
You can add that one to the overtime in the last game versus George Mason. Didn't have the shooting performance he wanted, you know, as you talked about, but he's really picking it up here tonight, and that's what you do when you're a shooter, right? You're going to keep putting them up. I mean, there's no fear in this guy. He's not like, oh, I've had a couple bad games. No, he's got 14 points and he leads the team now tonight.
My dad said it to me a million times when I was a little kid, shooters shoot. And that is the truth. You just keep doing it, and you got to remain confident and realize your teammates always build you up too. They want him taking the shots, and he'll keep doing it.
Avila knocked out of his hands, out of bounds with 5 to shoot.
Good job by Ruben, and a better job by the Ramblers team. No help. Like let's make him score over Ruben, 17th in the nation in block shots, just over 2 a game. Make Avila score over Ruben and prove he can do it before you leave and allow him to facilitate, which he's excellent at.
And then Avila told me before the game as well that, yeah, there are going to be games where you're off. He goes, I just happen to have 3 of them in a row. You know, because he knows you're not going to have a perfect game every night out, but he did. He had those 3 in a row, had over 20 turnovers in like 4 straight games. Everybody's like, what's wrong? Well, he brought it back in the last game. 27 points, 9 rebounds.
And a lot of those games, to your point, he had more turnovers than assists in those games, which is problematic. But yeah, he was very effective offensively. I will say this, they went to Billups on him late in that game and kind of nullified him. He had 27 points with 6 minutes to go and didn't score in an overtime game.
I thought that was a travel. Yeah, Ted Valentine is all over it as he's been throughout his entire career.
And Winslow's got to relax because, as you saw there, they're not guarding him. They calls it mucking. So basically, you're going to leave guys that aren't shooters 6-7 feet unguarded. So you got to be patient with it, and really what you can be deadly in when the guys are mucking you is setting screens in the exterior because guys aren't there to help as much versus trying to drive into a crowd.
Isaiah Swope just 2 points tonight and 1 for 3 from the field. Now it's Avila for 3. Tap back out by Anya to Swope. Blocked inside by Ruben.
Great shot fake and drive. I think he took it to Ruben. He should have gone with his right hand and put his shoulder into Ruben, who was on the left side of the hoop. Would have protected the ball.
Dawson for 3. He's already got 19 points in this game for Loyola Chicago on 5 of 7 from 3-point range. Jimerson, Anya, telling everybody to clear out. Goes one-on-one with Edwards. Ruben down with a double team. Out to the wing. Swope for 3. That's good.
I feel like when you're doubling, especially Anya's a playmaker too. He can pass it. He had 5 assists in the last game, along with 15 rebounds and 10 points. Like he had a really good game. When you double, these guys are making good decisions right now.
They got 10 lead changes tonight here. Rebound, Avila off the miss from Watson.
Nice pass.
Look at that. Easy 2 for Kalu Anya.
How about Swope? Waited one more beat to him basically to clear the defense and give himself a path to almost roll it to him. Pretty.
Second assist tonight for Isaiah Swope. St. Louis back up 3. 3 minutes gone by second half. The floating runner by Ruben doesn't go. Anya another rebound.
That's the other player they're mucking. You saw how far Avila was off of him. If he's shooting a 10-foot runner, I would take that. That's that. Josh Hurts is playing the percentages. That's fine.
Swope from deep for 3. I mentioned a moment ago he's got 2 points. He's got 8 now, and he's hit 2 3-pointers. And St. Louis leads by 6. It's an 8-0 run.
And this team is explosive. And Swope, Avila, and Jimerson can get on bucket at any point in time. Check out this pass, just feathery, right to Anya. And then he can shoot it too. This one was from the Hancock building. Heads up, buckets.
Tomorrow on ABC and ESPN. Plus, the Four Nations face-off schedule has Finland taking on Sweden at 1 p.m. Eastern. Then the most anticipated matchup, U.S. and Canada at 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 Pacific at the Bell Center in Montreal. This is an international best-on-best hockey tournament featuring the U.S., Canada, Sweden, and Finland, showcasing some top NHL talent competing for their countries.
Is there anything better than the NHL on ESPN theme?
I love it. I'm glad we got it back. That's
I know.
Awesome. Yeah.
Well, first we got those rights back. I think SVP played that song like 15 times in our show. It was phenomenal. Took me back to my childhood. NHL 94. I could name every guy in the NHL at one point in my life.
It's made some of our announcer teams work a little bit harder. Now they're doing football, basketball, hockey, anything, but it's all good. They'll love it. Here's a three, and it's Jayden Dawson, who has just been outstanding tonight. 6 of 8 from three-point range. He's got 22.
And these aren't easy shots. Like, that's a tough shot, but he is feeling it. He's been in the zone, essentially, since this game started. I mean, 8 points in the first 2 minutes of play.
8 of 13 from the field. Leads all scorers. Here's a three from Swope. And rebounded by Quinn.
He refused that ball screen and lost Dawson, who kind of tripped on Avila. They were fortunate he didn't knock that down. Good closeout by Swope there. You got to be on Dawson on the catch here.
Here's Edwards, shut off by Jimerson.
Good step by Anya. They switched that now. Got to be antennas up with Dawson.
Rubin fouled. Avila picks up the foul, and Rubin will shoot free throws when we return. Battle in the Atlantic 10 here tonight. 3-point lead, St. Louis. You're watching the Atlantic 10 Friday night showcase from Chicago.
You might not need crypto to sell a truck. But when wire transfers take forever, banks aren't open, and cash isn't convenient, well, you just might.
Sometimes the greatest rush is not rushing at all in the all-new Nissan Murano.
For a limited time at Domino's, get the Dream Pizza Deal. Any pizza you want for just $9.99 online. Because any pizza with any crust and any toppings means you can order the pizza you've been dreaming of. All for the dream price of $9.99. The Dream Pizza Deal at Domino's.
And 10 standings for you. It's a huge game tomorrow for George Mason. They're hosting St. Joe's. VCU is off till Wednesday. Dayton takes on Duquesne tomorrow. Then we've got this game you're watching right now. It's St. Louis and Loyola Chicago. 9 teams separated by just 2 games.
Now these teams out here you're watching are battling to get in that top 4 double bye because they need to win the Atlantic 10 tournament to get in to the NCAA tournament. George Mason has a different argument right now. If they are playing at an elite level, this team has won 10 straight games, second longest streak in the nation. The problem is their resume does not look the part compared to others right now. That net ranking of 65 is brutal. There's never been an at-large team let in with a net ranking that low on Selection Sunday. But you look at their quads, they're between quad 1 and quad 2, they are 5-3. The losses hurt them. Central Michigan, Eastern Carolina, and URI, especially those 2 non-league games early in the season as they were kind of finding themselves. But they look the part. Tony Skinn's crew has got guards that can make plays. They got big physical bigs. They one of the top 15 teams in defensive efficiency. They'll be an interesting case if they continue to win games, but they do not cut down the nets in D.C. in the A-10 tournament. What happens on Selection Sunday?
Well, that's the number for the time being. There's still a third left in the regular season, right? And if they run the table or even win 5 out of the next 6, I mean, I think they've got a strong case for it because they've already got 20 wins.
Yeah.
VCU is a net of 37, by the way, and they're in the first 4 out category right now, according to Joe Lenardi. I think they're a tournament team, so you've got a couple challenging, and then who knows how Dayton does, right? And all of a sudden they're starting to catch, fire at the right time, and that was a team that was picked high in the conference. So I think there's multiple teams right now challenging. We still got another 6 or 7 regular season games to go.
Dayton has the non-league wins for their resume.
Yeah.
That's why if they get right to what we thought they would be in terms of their record at the end of the year, they're in a good spot to potentially have an at-large argument. They do have some tough losses. Some of those losses look better now. George Mason at home does not look as bad as it once did when it happened, 6 weeks ago. That loss is okay as Jimerson buries another 3. But VCU is the part, flat out. Like, VCU should be a tournament team. The question is, again, what their resume look like when it's done. And the problem is the A-10 has gotten better. The middle of the A-10 is hard to win against and hard to win on the road. And some of those wins don't give you great metrics results, though, too. They just hurt your metrics at times. If you lose, I should say.
Well, that's the thing. I found it so interesting that 9 teams are separated by just 2 games. And even the bottom teams right now, I mean, they're only 3 and 4 games off the pace, which is very interesting. And this St. Louis team has been in some close ball games as of late. So has Loyola Chicago. It's who's going to get over the hump in a game like this.
I really think at this point, Drew Valentine's got to talk to his guys. Like, leaving Gibson Jimerson in any stretch is not okay. Like, you've got to be touch tight to him basically the rest of the game because he's feeling it. Water finds its level, as Josh Schertz says. This is one of the best shooters in the country. He was shooting at 20%. There was going to be a turnaround to him come back to his career, which is about 38, 39%. Got Miss Johnson, good cut.
Inside, Johnson for the 2, and he's got 14 points, 3 off of Jimerson's team high of 17.
So when you double, you've got the weak side's got to get into an eye, if you will, and understand where the cutters are coming from. There was only one person at the bottom of that. There was nobody there, and Anya just walked right down Broadway.
Jayden Dawson working on Avila. Up face. No. Fighting for it. Got it back. Blocked by Anya from behind. 7-point lead here for St. Louis. Largest of the night. Avila for 3. Not there. Rebound pulled in by Watson.
I mean, he can make that. He walked right into it. And remember, in the first half, Deloach didn't guard him on one. He buried it. So I don't dislike that shot. I think they should get more middle ball screen action, or the middle handoffs, I think, have been very problematic for St. Louis. And it's still putting an Avila in a compromising position like a post-up is. But Deloach is able to get the foul.
Avila picks up his second. Make it Anya, excuse me.
That is important. The fouls again for these guys are critical as who's stacking them up. And Anya is really important to this team, but Avila, if he gets more foul trouble, they will continue to try to go at him. But everybody's okay right now.
Yeah, no issues so far. Anya with just his second, and that's the most of anybody on St. Louis.
But it's likely that nobody else, as Deloach misses the free throw, they may not sub the rest of this game. They may, maybe these guys will get one blow, maybe. But this is, again, it's last in the nation in bench minutes played for the St. Louis team.
Yeah, this isn't a game for bench scoring. It's 2-0 in favor of Loyola Chicago. That's it.
Well, Loyola usually goes deeper, and they get some production from their bench, especially a guy like Quinn who comes off the bench.
You're Josh Schertz, you're probably wondering, okay, when am I going to have a team where I've got some subs? Okay, last year in the State, they played like 6 or 7 max, and then same thing now because of the injuries here in St. Louis. I mean, he's a great coach. I mean, it's going to be probably pretty deadly when he's able to get,
some depth.
8, 9, 10 guys. Yeah. They're doing pretty darn well with what they've got. And a lot of credit to Drew Valentine over at Loyola Chicago as well, because they've dealt with a lot of injuries this year too, and they're challenging. As Jimerson misses on the 3, Rubin the rebound for Edwards.
The whole building felt like they exhaled if you're wearing gold and red right now, because that was a mistake. Again, you left Jimerson, kind of got sucked in ball watching. That can't happen. That's a moving screen, yeah.
It's on Jalen Quinn. His second. Those are getting called. I mean, that's.
Yeah. I mean,
you've got to be set.
Yeah, obvious.
Coach Valentine's message tonight: you need a heightened sense of urgency. You can't relax, and that he was very adamant about that with shoot around, talking to his players afterward. Everything you do here tonight, you can't relax. It's like, to your point, Jimerson comes out the screen, boom, 3-pointer. You relax inside, Ami gets a rebound. Offensive board. There's a lot you got to do. You got to be on top of it tonight in this game.
The way they play, St. Louis stresses you offensively continuously because they have guys that can shoot at different positions and play make. They need to continue to be alert all the time and talking through possessions as Quinn gets called for the foul here. It's a tough one.
Guess they said he was kind of holding his arm, but he has to go out now with 3 personal fouls. Swope's got it for St. Louis.
Switch.
Kicks it. Jimerson, the extra pass. A wide open 3. That time no good by Kobe Johnson. Rebound and a foul.
This is second possession in a row. The Ramblers got lucky. They drove the ball in, lost sight of Jimerson. He caught it. Now they had to recover him, but they throw it over to Johnson. Kobe Johnson again is shooting 40% in league play from the three-point line. That was a great look that he just missed. Like, the Ramblers have got to be more locked in defensively. And again, offensively, I would again like to see a middle pick and roll situation here. Or that set where they run the middle handoff has been very successful as well. They're trying to post Rubin, though.
Well, your point on the other end, Johnson was 2 for 2 from three-point range to that miss. Here's Rubin. Hook over Avila, doesn't go.
Not a good look.
6-point lead, St. Louis. Coming up on 12 minutes to go in this contest. Swope gets it back. Rubin's on him. Swope feeds the middle, and it got taken away. Edwards.
Good switch there by St. Louis to keep everybody squared up.
They get it to Dawson, who's got 22. Edwards inside Rubin. Back up top. Lewinsky could have been a travel. Instead, it's going to be a foul. It's going to be on Anya. That's going to be his third. He got away with it there.
Because they wanted him to shoot that. He did not shoot it. He forced the issue. He got a foul. And I will say this. Definitely shuffle those feet first. But it's okay. St. Louis up 6.
College game day is rolling.
We out here.
Big 3, we're bringing the energy.
Fact, plenty of hoop knowledge.
And a whole lot of fun.
College game day live from Columbia. Sunday at 11 a.m. on ESPN.
Sunday, huge doubleheader action. College game day, and then number 7 UConn, number 4 South Carolina, and then Texas and LSU. All 4 are either number 1 or number 2 seeds so far in the latest bracketology on the women's side. That's our Sonic blockbuster coming up on Sunday at ABC.
And I do love the UConn South Carolina big rivalry, non-conference game in the midst of conference play. And of course, Texas beat South Carolina last week, ending their 57-game SEC win streak, which is pretty impressive to say the least. Should be some great games on Sunday.
4-point win for them. Yep.
Just real quick, want to clean up the net thing we talked about earlier with George Mason. There's only been one other non-Power 5 team that had an RPI ranked 65 or lower to get in. Wichita State got in, and below that. So I do think the Power 5, you can say there's not a bias here. Bias exists. You can tell me whatever it is. I think the bias exists for a lot of teams that have a certain league. They have more opportunities to play these teams and play these games with Quad 1 and Quad 2 here all the time, particularly Quad 1. And I think they receive the benefit of that, sometimes unfairly so.
Well, agreed. Talking about the A-10 teams right now in the net rankings. Oh, look at Rubin flashing down the lane off the inbound for the slam.
Good execution, bad communication.
Anya wasn't looking, and it got taken away by Des Watson. Gets it back from Rubin. The floating runner is short. Rubin, the offensive rebound, fights it out to the corner. Up top, it's Edwards for 3. Tough sequence if you were St. Louis. Here's Jimerson off the screen trying to respond. Can't do it, back rim. Rubin the rebound. Ramblers have a chance to regain the lead. Lewinsky working on Anya. No, got it back. Loyola Chicago leads.
What a response, what a spurt by the Blurs, and good recognition by Wilhensu. Anya's got 3 fouls. I'm going right at you. And he couldn't get it the first time. He stuck with it and got it done. How about Rubin? Extra effort. Edwards, he can fill it up. big turn of events.
Crypto wasn't for him. He was more of a hardware guy. But those credit card fees kept sneaking up on him. Then part-time cashier / full-time grandson had another idea. Crypto payments. Lower fees, less paperwork, more profit.
Thank you.
Crypto wasn't for him until it was.
Sometimes the greatest rush is not rushing at all. Get the all-new Nissan Murano at 3.9% APR financing for 36 months.
Coming back and forth at each other. I'm interested to see what Josh Schertz runs here, because this is one of those things where out of timeouts you have certain tendencies, and we saw them put in a couple plays and script a couple plays before and shoot around. They were going to run the first 3 plays. We only saw really 2 of them executed. I'm interested if he goes back, especially the one they scored to open the game up, where they had some weak sky flare screen action. Kobe Johnson slipped for a layup. Might be a good time to run that back out here.
This is the largest run of the game that Loyola Chicago has had, an 8-0 run. Avila battling with Ruben. Ruben's grabbing his jersey, and Avila says, okay, I'll just take it in and score anyway.
One of the first times they didn't double him, and they went 1v1, and Robbie won.
Avila's got 12 points. 9 rebounds, 6 assists. Edwards, wow. Such a smooth stroke.
He's a microwave in that Richmond game. He went 7 threes in that Richmond game. Like almost all of them in the second half, late in the second half in overtime.
21 points in that game. He's got 8 here tonight. Back to Swope. Off the screen from Avila, back inside to him. There comes a double team coming for that baseline side. Ruben, and it's into the middle for Anya. Lost it. Ramblers ball.
And that is Ruben's length and activity, because he came on the double and then he retreated probably too early. But because he's got long arms and he's quick, he was able to get a deflection on that pass, because Anya was available. You see, but look at that, comes down and gets the deflection there. And that was not a game-changing play, but a critical play within this game, as they now have a 1-point lead and the Rock.
Ruben. No. Off to the left, tapped around. That should be out of bounds off of Loyola Chicago, and it is, as Wuinsu hit it last.
Just to be simple about this, Robbie Avila is winning this battle 1v1 with Ruben, whether it's on the offensive end or the defensive end. And Ruben's not been able to exploit that advantage or make an advantage a lot of times in the interior there. I think they're better off, again, running something different. Even with Wuinsu against Anya, because with 3 fouls, Anya's really going to have to play a little bit softer and try to figure that out.
2 great big men talents in this game. Ruben's got 9 points, 9 rebounds. Loyola Chicago, Avila's got 12 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists for St. Louis. Now they're going to change it up, but they got Wakoria on him as Ruben's out of the game. Shot is up, no. Actually, Ruben stays in, just wasn't guarding him that time. The foul's going to be called on Wakoria, his second.
So when he does that full back down, the problem is because St. Louis can shoot the ball well, they don't really want to double. They want to go 1v1. And now, like I said, Robbie's winning these battles. And Wakoria, he was just so well. He's a good defender, but again, he's all over him. This arm bars from so far out. And we've seen other good defenders that have more wing defenders be able to make Robbie struggle to get into his spot. But here he's a little more comfortable.
Avila's family is at the game here. Grew up in Oak Forest, Illinois, not that far away outside of Chicago. Went to Indiana State to begin his career with Josh Schertz, and now following here to St. Louis. There's his dad, Juan, and his mother, Katie.
It's a big free throws for them. It's obvious, but they've struggled in late game scenarios. I mean, St. Joe's, for example, George Mason at times, like they've struggled to make free throws in critical moments of games. It's big for Robbie to step up and hit both.
It's a 1-point game once again here.
There it is. Oh, Quinn's got to look at the hoop.
Instead got right to Watson, who puts up a 3-ball, and that is no good. The rebound Anya. Crowd getting into it here in Loyola, Chicago.
We are, the crowd is on us, as I should say. I need a concussion test. I just took a blow to the dome.
Swope for 3, and is no good. Rebound by Jayden Dawson.
Rufus wide.
You called it, and he finds him, and he misses the dunk. But there's a foul called.
Jimerson recovered. I didn't really see the foul. Good find by Dawson. Tough one. But he's coming to the line when we get back.
Should have got the Airbnb, as we're here in Chicago for 2 consecutive weeks. You love coming to this place, Gentile Arena. The crowd is awesome. They're phenomenal. No matter what kind of year, you know, this team is having. They're right behind you, as you can see. You do have to watch getting blacked in the head a few times.
The Pontifex got me in the head here. I'm trying to recover. I got woozy for a second, but I'm okay now. We got last year we actually had like old school jerseys. Didn't we have like the Raptors, like a Vince Carter?
Yes.
Also, those guys knocked my headset completely off. So we're playing hurt. We're playing okay.
But he had some positive things to say about you. He loved your call of the national championship of the soccer with Vermont winning this year. You do play-by-play for that. You do a great job.
Thank you very much, which I did say once he told me that before the game that he could hit me. So he took full advantage of it. Took me up on my offer. So flattery goes a long way with me. Flattery and vanity. I'm really a very shallow individual.
He knew he had to say something before the game because stuff was going to happen.
It was going down.
Right. Ruben is at the line here for Loyola Chicago. I'll tell you, a lot's going to go down tomorrow. We've got a ton of college basketball, and leading the charge is #1 and #2 in the SEC, Auburn and Alabama. First ever time this has happened in the SEC in college basketball. Bruce Pearl has coached a #2 Tennessee versus #1 Memphis and beat them. That was back in 2008. Another time now he's involved in a 1 versus 2 game. This should be fun. You see the others coming up all tomorrow on ESPN and the app.
He beat the doors off of Memphis too back then. They had John Wall. They were loaded that year. Tried to lob there for Johnson. They almost got it. Good hands by Quinn. Go.
Quinn uses his body, got it knocked out of his hands. They're going to call the foul.
See, why I said go is because you want to use your body, but as you want to create that separation and get them closer to you as you get closer to the basket. To create the contact out here, you almost got fouled before they got a chance to get toward the hoop. But great defense, and for a lefty to play with that his left hand and the outside hand there and get the steal. Again, this has been a bugaboo for St. Louis all year. Turnovers in critical moments. It can't happen out of timeout.
Well, and Anya's got to watch it. That's his 4th personal foul. Does Coach Schertz get him out? Yes, I think he finally has Max Picard up off the bench. And he's going to check in for the junior, who does head to the bench with 4 personals now. 4 points in this game, but he's done a great job. He's got 6 boards, 4 assists, and now have to sit.
And he'll have to sit, but Picard, again, a young player that's trying to find his role, and he can stretch you a little bit because he can't make a shot, but physically he's not as imposing. He's not as great a defender on the perimeter. They do lose quite a bit when you make that substitution. But you have to at this point.
Huge game tonight for both teams. Dayton is at 7-5 in the A-10. St. Louis is 7-5. This Loyola Chicago team 6-5. Tie-breaking scenarios on the line as well, pending who wins this game, as we're 2/3 of the way into the Atlantic 10 Conference slate. Here's Jimerson for 3. Does it again. Gibson Jimerson, 5 of 10 from 3-point range with 20 points.
And as a former shooter, not a shooter of his capability, a good one. He's a great one. You know, whenever you get that initial separation and you're going to come off a handoff or a screen, that you got him. You got him already, and they were late to recognize it, and they were late to help. He knew that was going up 3 steps before he got the ball.
Jimerson's 10th 20-plus point game this year. St. Louis is 8-1 in the previous 9 when he's done that. Here's Quinn to the hole. The runner off the window, too strong. Jimerson has the rebound.
Gotta stop the ball. Good job by Swope. And here's what I'm talking about. It's as simple as you got to, again, be touch tight and be aware he's going to come off this thing. And look at that space. There's already bodies. There's 3 feet, 4 feet of separation. for an outstanding shooter, and then because you're pressuring underneath Avila, there was no. You should yell switch early. You should yell switch and have the big come out because you're dead in the water if you don't.
There's Avila working on Ruben. Spinning baseline, single coverage, foul. Ruben with his second personal foul.
I think you may be better off with this lineup with Picard. Is put Ruben on Picard and you put even Watson or Sheldon on Avila and try to deny him the entry pass and make them throw that over the top from the side of the court. Have your weak side defense stacked, and you can play off of Picard and make him make a play. Ruben could essentially sit in the middle of the lane and make him make a play, because right now when Robbie's getting the ball and is backing guys down, he's having his way.
So rather than have Ruben sit back there and just try to go one-on-one against him, get somebody else in there trying to knock the ball away before he gets
well, Ruben's the help side defender, and then you want one of your bigger wings or your guard players to deny him an opportunity, maybe to catch it or still push it out. And if he does, make him throw it over the top, red him if you will. Or I think they call it whiting, which is fronting the post and not allowing him to catch the ball.
We'll track it next time St. Louis has possession. Right now they lead it by 4, 62-58. Coming up on 6 minutes remaining in the contest here from Gentile Arena, Chicago, Illinois. Three-pointer, Dawson. He has been money tonight. It was tipped around by Watson into the hands of Avila.
It's a good set. A little single-double action. Come off one side, another guard come off the other side. Created some space off the screen and couldn't hit it.
Swap.
They have Dawson right now on Avila. He was just reading him in the post. Now Ruben's got a guard. Good job.
Lewinsky is back in for Jalen Quinn for Loyola Chicago. 9 to shoot. St. Louis. Johnson, the trigger man.
The slip's wide open. Ooh, come back to the ball.
Avila for 3. And Johnson tapped it out of bounds, so Loyola Chicago possession.
What Robbie's good at, too, he hasn't done much of today, is that shot fake and go by guys. And there, Lewinsky was closing so hard, so if I were him, I'd recognize, all right, if he's on me again, I'm going to throw that fake, because he may leave his feet again and get me a chance to go by him.
And Avila is 1 for 7 right now from three-point range in this game. Closing in on a triple-double if he gets 3 more assists here in this one. That's crazy. Here's Dawson. Runner, yes.
It's every time they fail that handoff or a middle ball screen when Ruben's doing it, because Avila's so far off him and you're setting it inside the three-point line. Your guard's able to get downhill or lob. They just got to keep going back to that and make St. Louis adjust to you.
Dawson had a season-high 24 Tuesday night at Richmond, and he's tied it here tonight. As Ruben with a block, and he saves it from going out. And the up-the-floor pass to Watson. For Dawson, back to Watson. Driving, and fouled hard. And a chance to tie it at the line. What a sequence, and it all began with Miles Ruben getting the block and keeping it in play.
I mean, to be a defender that gets blocks and makes plays, that's one thing. And he does it all the time. Top player in the nation. But to make that play, to save it, to ignite a break, these are type of game-changing momentum plays to erase a layup and get a chance for Watson now to go and get 2 points the other way and tie this game. That was a massive play by the sophomore.
He has 4 blocks tonight, 57 on the season, first in the Atlantic 10, 14th in the country coming into play here in this one. I mean, what a special talent. And for this Loyola Chicago group and Drew Valentine to keep this guy right here at home.
Yep.
Simeon High School right here in Chicago. Atlantic 10 all rookie team and all defensive team last year. And this is a guy that was ranked 29th nationally in his position coming out of high school. And the Ramblers got him.
He got him. And I hope they keep him. I hope the young man stays here and continues to develop as a great player.
16 lead changes, and it's our 7th tie here on this Friday night at 62 all.
Switching everything. He's going back down again.
There's Edwards on him, as you said. Avila now working against Ruben. He got a partially blocked. So did Edwards. It's still loose. Ruben has it.
Oh, he traveled.
Yes, you called it. Johnson had got in there, and they called the travel on Edwards.
Okay. Now what they're doing defensively with Avila, they're switching everything, so he was able to get the ball on Edwards and we started to back down. The double did come from Rubin, so they're mixing up the coverages and doing something a little different. And that's just unfortunate for Edwards, who's just too eager to get going. They always teach you to catch it, assess, look first, then go. He was going before he looked up, and Swope was right there, affected him.
Here's Swope. Check by Dawson.
They don't switch, throwback, they'll shoot it.
Avila for three, it's good. Billiken contingent, not that bad behind the bench in the corner, cheering for their team as they go up 3. And Robbie Avila's got 19 points. And a foul as Edwards got hit. 3 free throws coming for Sheldon Edwards. And he gets tied at the line.
I do like what they did here. They had Robbie come to set the screen. I thought they were going to switch, so then Quinn would be, Dawson would be on him. They didn't. So then he got him in a little hostage dribble, made 2 play 1, throw back. And Avila buries a triple, only second of the game on 8 attempts.
Third foul on Gibson Jimerson, 19 foul for St. Louis here. Edwards, though, is shooting 3 free throws as he got fouled shooting the 3. 8 points on the night. First trip to the free throw line here tonight.
And this is the team that on the season shoots 66%. They're just over that right now, 11 for 15. But a couple critical ones here. With 4:02 to play.
Quinn coming back in for Edwards, who just tied the game at 65. 3 for 3 at the line. 4:02 to go. What a year it's been on the Atlantic 10. These are what these games have come down to. Right to the wire. Overtime. Both teams coming off overtime games this week. St. Louis to the overtime loss. Loyola Chicago the overtime win. Swope crosses over down the lane. He got held up. That's had by Dawson. It stays this direction when we return. 5 on the shot clock for St. Louis to shoot. We're tied at 65.
Oklahoma's gymnastics is pristine.
They're on their feet in the PMAC. A night we've had circled for a long time.
This is huge coming up next. Number 1 and number 2 in women's gymnastics, Oklahoma and LSU. LSU's the reigning national champion, their first team title in program history. Oklahoma's won 6 of the past 10 championships dating back to 2014.
Crowd's getting live here. There's going to be 13,000 people, though, at that meet. 1 versus 2. Going to be a great show. I believe it's starting on ESPN News.
Yes. And we'll get you to that as soon as we are done here tonight from Chicago. And we're back to action here, and right the other way now are the Ramblers as Wowinsu gets it into the front court.
It's a great out of bounds under Avila, slips back to the ball wide open, just didn't shoot it well. You really put that up on the backboard. They try to touch it in and float it right in.
Rubin to the corner, 3 for the lead. It's good for Edwards. Under 3 minutes to go in the game. Avila. We're going to get Edwards on a wraparound foul.
Sheldon Edwards, in terms of the entire country, there may not be a bigger clutch shooter late in games, whether it was Richmond, we saw it at times at Dayton, and you see it here, and he doesn't take much time to get it off, but you know he wants it. And Jimerson just a half second late, and that's the difference.
It's a 1-and-1 here on the foul from Edwards. 17 foul from Loyola Chicago. Avila couldn't hit it.
Mentioned their free throw issues in late game situations. There they come again.
That was his first miss tonight, though. He's 5 for 6 now. It's his second double-double of the year. The previous was on January 3rd versus St. Joe's. Crazy to think it's only his second one. 19 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists. Back to Edwards, same spot, same result. And on the deck, it's Watson. Up to Dawson. Will it shoot? What just happened here?
Sheldon Edwards happened first, I'll tell you that much. He gets the 1-3, and then Drew Valentine goes right back to him, says, hey, we're going to run a set. We're going to do this. We ran it early in the game. We got a good look. Let's do it again. And they get this little misdirection. You see over the top this Iverson cut, and then they're going to set a baseline double screen. And Jimerson knows, I can't believe this is a shooter. You do not leave his body. He tried to shortcut it. And as soon as you do that, the second screener is going to adjust their body so you can bump back to the corner. Buries the three. And Isaiah Swope, just a bad turnover. Forced a bad position, lost the ball. And Josh Shirt says, we have to be cleaner for 40 minutes, guys. Well, they weren't clean the first 4 minutes of the game. They've not been clean the last 3 possessions of this game. And that is the difference right now. Those 8 points are the difference. Missed defensive assignment, mental miscue, turnover, missed free throw, and the other team executing.
An 11-0 run currently here by Loyola Chicago. They've hit 4 of their last 4. St. Louis is 1 of their last 7. And they're on a 2-minute and 4-second scoring drought. And this has been incredible here, this atmosphere at Loyola Chicago. 17 lead changes tonight.
Think about this. Sheldon Edwards was 4 for 4 from the three-point line. Their win against Richmond, their overtime win. In overtime. Like when the game's on the line, this dude just makes shots.
He's 4 for 6 from three-point range here tonight, including the last 2. Then the dunk by Wuinsu. After we were tied at 65, it's now an 8-point lead, largest from any team tonight. And Swope comes back with a monstrous 3 for St. Louis.
That's what they did at George Mason. They're down 6 points with 40 seconds. They're not out of the game. They are far from out of this game, folks. UMass games, the last 7 points they got to win that game, you know, at the wire. They know are comfortable in these situations.
Yep, got a 3-pointer to win that game at the buzzer. Essentially, that was on February 4th, 73-71. 13-point loss to St. Joe's, 2-point loss in overtime to Mason this week, and now they're in this 5-point deficit. Loyola Chicago, Rubin inside, runner, no, rebound Avila. Out to Swope, got to get on him, keep an eye.
They're going to probably play through Avila again. Ooh, that's tough because he goes to the line.
Fouled by Dawson. It's still a 1-on-1 situation here for Isaiah Swope, who is yet to go to the free throw line tonight, 74% on the season. But this is what I was talking about with Coach Schertz before the game. There's no cause for concern. He doesn't go crazy on the sidelines. He's got it under control. You feel like the other night, I thought they were down and out against George. I'm like, this game's over. They come back to tie it. I mean, they essentially should have won. It was unfortunately a tough call where a player stepped out of bounds and wasn't able to get called. They couldn't review it. They might have won that ball game.
They would have been down 1 with the ball with 12 seconds left.
Yeah.
Yes, they would have a chance to win that game. So that was a tough no call. But in this game now, they're a double bonus. So as a shooter, as the guy on the line, that does take some pressure off. Just get up there, say your money, confident, knock it down, and then run it back. And we got a blood situation on Avila. And he has time now to get that cleaned up, though he doesn't have to come out of the game immediately.
So kind of a free timeout here a little bit anyway for Coach Schertz to talk it over with his group here. He's got 1 timeout remaining. Loyola Chicago's got 2 with Drew Valentine. 1:14 to go.
And Drew did just say when we get it up over half court, he wants a timeout. So his guys their job right now is to rebound the ball.
Oh,
the
now
three
let's
was
talk
changing
about this.
to, that's what that is. They're still at the 1-on-1 again.
The three-pointer was just changed to a 2.
Wow.
As they have that time to go over and look at it, because you got to go right away when it's under 4 minutes, because there's no immediate timeout. So that Swope shot was converted down to a 2. Okay, now 1 free throw, second one here by Swope. So now it's a 4-point game.
I thought DJ Carson came out. He was signaling from us from the middle of the court saying 2. I thought he was saying that there was a problem with the book, so it was 2 free throws. It was a correction on the 3-point line.
Right, so Swope's 3 was downgraded to a 2. Then he hits the 2 free throws, and now it's a 4-point game. And you said Drew Valentine wanted a timeout as they got it over half court, and that's what they got.
And they did a good job of handling the pressure first, coming to the ball, and then getting a timeout now with 25 seconds of the shot clock.
Swope single-handedly, though, trying to bring him back in. And again, right, he hits the shot, then he gets the drive, gets fouled, hits the free throws. And St. Louis, with 1:09 remaining, is down 4. Each team now has a timeout remaining. Possession arrow favors St. Louis if we get a jump.
And now they call the timeout partially to get Sheldon Edwards back in the game. It's to get him back on the court, and that's what they want to do. Now, they ran that set for Edwards. He got the corner, which Jimerson left him. We showed you they kind of ran a similar variation of that with guys coming off the last possession here. I think their best offense, I'll keep saying, is with that middle ball screen or handoff action when Ruben does it, because Avila's got so much space because they're not really guarding him. It's hard. It's when it happens quick, it's hard for them to react to. And they've been good about getting stuff off of that. Either that or you go to Sheldon Edwards, who's not in the hot hand, and you try to run him off some screens and let him go to work.
St. Louis is tied for 3rd place right now in the A-10. Loyola Chicago tied for 5th. And they beat St. Joe's, who they're tied with at 6-5. St. Louis and Dayton are both 7-5. Neck and neck right now in the A-10, closing in on the final 1/3 of the regular season. This is big for both teams tonight. 1 minute remaining in the game. Down to 55 seconds, 10 to shoot. Ruben, hands off. Dawson to the hole. They let him get in there, and he scores it.
That's exactly what we're talking about. He comes off that zoom action, as it's called, a little handoff still in the middle of the floor, and Avila's way too far for Ruben to help. Easy turn the corner for Dawson.
Avila for 3. High archer. It's an air ball into the hands of Des Watson.
They're going to have to foul.
Yeah, you got to foul now.
Got to give it. Got to give it. And they missed the opportunity. And Josh Hurts saying Wuhinsu's the guy you want to give it to if you're going to give one right there. Foul him.
Yeah, 62% instead to get Watson, who's at 70%. And now St. Louis takes a timeout, but what did you see on that drive there for Loyola Chicago, getting the bucket by Dawson?
So zoom action is a down screen into a handoff. So your defender is already coming off a down screen. The handoff is there behind it. So his defender was trailing. Look where Avila is so far in the lane because they're not guarding up on Ruben. So he can't step up and help. He can't wall. He can't blast out there and change the ball carrier. He's goes straight downhill. Really well designed by Drew Valentine. Very well executed by his team. When you understand how your team is being guarded, you then take advantage of those things. That's exactly what Drew did there.
How about Jayden Dawson? He's tied his career high with 26 points for Loyola Chicago, in which he got at Tulsa back on December 5th, 2023. Dawson with 26 tonight, 10 of 16 from the field, 6 of 9 from three-point range. Huge basket on that last drive there. And you got to credit both teams here for battling tonight, but we're coming down to the finish with 27.4 to go, and this is going to be tough if you're St. Louis down 6.
But you know they're not done yet because how St. Louis operates, they are always in the game every chance late. You take a look at Dawson, 26 on the game, just an absolute monster performance, especially early on. He was aggressive, and then in the second part, he's been in the late game. Obviously, that's what they wanted to go to. Teddy Valentine just came and said something. What's up?
Reminding me to tell the fans that the hand is part of the ball.
They call him TV Teddy for a reason.
That's right. Right. Hand is part of the ball. Yes.
Usually they come and talk to me. I was like, what are we talking about right now? And now Teddy's now explaining it to Drew because they wanted an and one there. They wanted to foul.
Right. It's the 2 Valentines tonight here on this day.
It's on this Valentine. And Drew did say big day for him. It's Valentine's Day, home game, and new Drake came out. He's a big Drake fan. He was hyped earlier.
He was playing it during the shoot-around today. Yeah. Here's Des Watson.
Defense, get Quinn back in there, one of your best wing defenders. And his assignment is the toughest assignment in terms of guard. Scott Swope. Don't want to foul, make them take a shot, switch everything, no threes. If they go to the rim, let them score 2.
Swope Up top for Anya. Johnson, they got to put something up. It's a three. It's short. Loyola, Chicago.
This game came down to executing offensively for the Ramblers and not executing offensively or defensively for the Bills. And the Bills, some of it was mental. Some mistakes on the defensive side, missed free throw here or there, lost ball on a turnover, things that are correctable, but that's what continues to frustrate Josh Schertz as they foul Rubin. That's the guy they want to foul too. In league play, shooting low 40% from the free throw line.
Got to thank our crew here tonight, our producer Robin Segretti, our director Tyler Honeycutt. Big thanks to our operations producer Diane Dovyak, who's setting us all up here tonight. David Kitanina, along with our audio with Randy Miller and Barry Woolley. Caitlin Alman back in the studio. Great job by everyone here on this crew tonight, along with Lee Torman, statistician. Good friend, thank you. And hope you're ready, Dallin, and you've enjoyed Chicago, because we'll be right back here next week as the Ramblers take on the Dayton Flyers on Friday night.
It's going to be great. Let's run it back, and hopefully it's not 8 degrees next week, but yeah, probably will be.
Exactly. Here's Swope working his way in, got blocked inside, and it's into the hands of Jayden Dawson, appropriately with a game-high 26, and Loyola Chicago wins it 78-60.